Tom Shatel of the Omaha World-Herald interviewed Nebraska's President Ted Carter. And Ted Carter says, big changes are coming. More realignment coming soon to the world of college football. Welcome to episode 215 of College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, subscribe to this ever-growing channel. Smash that like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get to the Omaha World-Herald. We covered some of this last night on our live show. We're going through the whole article this morning. Shatel, Nebraska's President Ted Carter, big changes are coming. More realignment coming to college football. Put down your comments in the comment section below the video. Big bomb that was placed last night. It blew up the internet, the message boards, Twitter. College realignment could be a terrific board game. Sit around the tailgate tent and roll the dice. Land on Los Angeles, take USC. Collect the most Fox Sports money. Buy Florida State. He with the most schools and the most TV money wins. Ask Reality, college realignment is downright weird. Ready to get really weird. How about Nebraska versus Miami, Florida as a Big Ten conference game? The Big Ten lured a handful of Atlantic Coast Conference schools as a way to break up the ACC and get Notre Dame? Or could it be the other way around here? Peek around the corner. First you get Notre Dame, then you can get some more ACC schools. The Big Ten and the SEC joining forces on a TV package? That's not going to happen anytime soon. Scheduling model and unified NIL guidelines to create a very real Power 2? Possibly. Don't think the Power 2 is going to be happening anytime soon, but they can get together. Tony Petitti, Greg Sankey on a new unified NIL guidelines. Hopefully they can get at that. While we're at it, how about a 48-school super division of college football that separates the NCAA and crowns its own champion? Again, I hope it doesn't get to that. I don't believe it's going to get to that in many, many years from now, even though there is probably a Power 2, definitely Power 2 of SEC and the Big Ten. But I don't think it's going to be just held to 48 schools. Not for many, 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 many years, if ever. Crazy, huh? Listen to the University of Nebraska's President Ted Carter. I'm on several national boards and I get to sit with a lot of top-tier presidents, Carter said. And I can just tell you this is a conversation that is happening now. No question about it. No question about it. A lot of discussions, lots of cloak and dagger behind the curtain. In the past 2 weeks, I've sat down with Carter for more than 2 hours to discuss his life, military background, Husker athletics, trends in college sports, and other topics. Nebraska's Top Gun president is intelligent, fascinating, and has incredible stories. Again, this is Tom Shatel from the Omaha World-Herald. But for this week, I wanted to share his thoughts on Big Ten football, scheduling, and potential realignment. Potential? Carter says he expects a lot of big things are going to happen in the next year. In the next year. Now, we already have Oklahoma and Texas joining the SEC. We already have UCLA and USC joining the Big Ten in 2024. Does that what President Carter means when he says that? Big Ten identity, what is it? USC and UCLA enter the league in 2024, and the Big Ten athletic directors are currently figuring out scheduling pods for 14 schools. Who gets to play the LA schools and how many times? The results will be telling on how the Big Ten's 3 TV partners, commissioner, and league presidents see the image of the Big Ten football going forward. Everything is about to change. I think Big Ten football, through the chancellors and presidents, has made the decisions to try to be national, President Carter says. I applaud the move. For Nebraska to show our brand in California is a valuable thing. When and if we go play in the Rose Bowl, we're going to get the exposure in California. We're going to inspire some athletes to come to Nebraska, not just student athletes, but students. That's one of the reasons I wanted to see expansion. For a league to have national exposure in 4 time zones is fantastic. How big should it be? I don't have the answer to that. Do we need 4 more Pac-12 teams that want to join? Time is going to tell. Now, you see, he doesn't say, do we need 2 more Pac-12 teams? He says 4 more. Because here at Peek Around the Corner, it's been a given that at least 2 more Pac-12 teams will join the Big Ten, because the Big Ten is not going to grow to a 20, 21, 22, 24 team conference, only having 2 teams west of Lincoln, Nebraska. We have said that over and over and over again, and we believe President Carter just told you that again in this interview. Focus is shifting from the West to the East Coast, specifically the ACC. Last week, it was reported that 7 ACC schools, Florida State, Clemson, Miami, North Carolina State, Virginia, and Virginia Tech, have explored leaving the conference. The issue? Money. The ACC is way behind the Big Ten and the SEC in revenue. For Florida State, Miami, and Clemson, who are chasing football championships, that's a problem. The ACC discussed an unequal revenue sharing policy that would give more money to schools that made the college football playoff, but it would still be nowhere near the Big Ten and the SEC numbers. And again, at Peek Around the Corner, we said it from the very beginning, this unequal revenue plan, distribution plan, doesn't solve the issue that it's really intended to solve, does it? So look for the Magnificent Seven, as Brett McMurphy from Action Network has labeled those 7 schools. So look for the Magnificent Seven to continue to throw out hints and feelers to the Big Ten and the SEC. The roadblock: money. The ACC has an ESPN contract that goes through 2036. Any ACC school that leaves before then gives future TV revenues to the ACC. And once again, Peek Around the Corner, we have said the only way to break that is to go to the courts, or somehow a lot of schools challenge it in court and somehow there becomes a settlement. But either way, the gore has to be broken in the courts. Where there's a lawyer, there's a way. Meanwhile, the Big Ten will be the most interested in ACC dramas. Certain ACC schools, specifically the state of Florida, would bring huge value to the Big Ten TV kitty. Is that a matter of time? Well, Florida State's going to have to figure out how to break the grant of rights. I don't know, Carter said. I think the ACC has some work to do. Make sure they understand what their media rights are, what the penalties are. You're talking $110 million to walk out the door. That's a big price tag. $110 to $120 million just to get out of the exit, just to pay the exit fee. According to the ACC bylaws, there's more penalties than that with the grant of rights involved. Carter added, I think we have another year or 2 of the status quo with a few minor changes. But I think over the next year, there's going to be a lot of big changes that are going to happen. Like 2 teams that move from one of the Power 5 conferences that cause things to unravel. Who is he talking about there? What 2 teams can move from one Power 5 conference to another that can make a conference unravel? Colorado and Arizona to the Big 12? Or Oregon, Washington to the Big 10? There's a domino effect, Carter said. One team leaves the ACC, it has a domino effect. Same with the Pacific Pac-12. But the Pac-12, are talking about adding somebody, so it may not have the same effect. In other words, if the Pac-12 gets poached here again soon, maybe they can add a San Diego State and SMU and hold the rest of those schools together. We shall see. Carter once speculated on the Big Ten and Notre Dame. But here are some things to watch. Now, Carter, he did not specifically mention any schools. Yes, he did not mention Notre Dame in this interview, but he did not mention other schools like Oregon and Washington, for example. Notre Dame's deal with NBC ends in 2024. The Irish make currently $22 million annually from NBC and reportedly are seeking $75 million. Will NBC have the appetite to pay that? NBC is currently loading up on its new deal with the Big Ten, targeting J.J. Watt to lead a conference show. Ohio State and Michigan State will play on NBC this fall. I'm wondering if the new Big Ten Commissioner, Tony Petitti, a veteran TV executive, could put together an NBC package that includes the Big Ten and Notre Dame and several annual games. That could be a bridge to adding the Irish down the road. PATC holds a very strong opinion that there will be no bridges. Either Notre Dame is in or they continue to be out. Big Ten is not going to treat Notre Dame like ACC did. There's not going to be some scheduling agreement to hope to bring Notre Dame into the conference. Notre Dame is going to have to come in or they can stay out. One way or the other. No bridges. No bridges. Back to the article. Also, Notre Dame is a member of the ACC in all sports but football. But if the ACC would fall apart and the Big Ten would grow to 20 to 24 schools and become a Power 2, would Notre Dame feel the need to join up in order to have access in the playoffs? Is one giant division inevitable? I don't know, Carter said. It's too early. The NCAA president is going to have to really wrestle with that and a whole lot of other issues. Carter on the new Big Ten commissioner. I have not met him. Trav Alberts, Nebraska's athletic director, knows him and thinks it was a good pick. My experience is that someone who understands the intricacies of TV, the linear, the big networks, and nonlinear is a good thing. The nonlinear is where a lot of this thing is going. It's all about getting that platform to the fan. Big screen TVs are such that you can have a college game day experience in your house. We're fortunate at Nebraska there's a population that wants to go to the game and experience it there on Big Ten football scheduling and the 2 or 3 rival game format. As long as we have 2 teams on the West Coast, they're going to have to manage that very carefully. Now you see what President Carter said here. As long as we have 2 teams on the West Coast, they're going to have to manage it very carefully. Now, we know USC and UCLA are not going anywhere. They're in the Big Ten for many, 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 many years, many decades to come. As long as we have 2 teams on the West Coast, they're going to have to manage that very carefully. But President Carter, once again, is telling everybody basically there's going to be more than 2 teams on the West Coast, and the scheduling is going to be a lot easier to manage when there's more than 2 schools on the Pacific Coast. Trav Alberts is a strong voice in those discussions. At the end of the day, wherever you get, go play your schedule. Whatever that Big Ten schedule comes out to be, just go play it. On where Big Ten presidents are, here's the deal. I don't know. Who are the Big Ten presidents? 8 have turned over in the last year. I don't know what they're thinking right now. There's going to be some really interesting Big Ten meetings in the future. The conference has never been more interesting. Wow, what an interview. Great job by Tom Shatel. Beautiful job. President Carter lays it out. What they've been talking in secret, he lays it out in public. And PATC have been saying for months, the Big Ten expansion door has been cracked open. We got raked over the coals here at Peek Around the Corner. When we said the number 1 hurdle for Big Ten further expansion was Kevin Warren, and he just left the building. Again, we got raked over the coals. When we at Peek Around the Corner said at some point the Big Ten is going to want to expand east. Of course they are. That's where the value is. And for them, for the Big Ten to expand east, they're going to have to go west once again. And President Carter is basically telling you that in this interview. Colorado and Arizona have a decision to make. Can Washington and Oregon actually sign a grant of rights to the new Pac-12 media deal when the Big Ten is talking so much out in public on what their plans will be in the years ahead, or maybe 5 months in the years ahead? Put down your comments and thoughts in the comments section below the video. Let me know how wrong we got it here at Peek Around the Corner. Wow, stick with us. We're going to be covering this story and others as the days and weeks and months ahead here in 2023. But it's about to get really weird around here. That's what it said in the article. That's what we're saying in the PATC studios. So stick with us until next time. From all of us at PATC, to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.